Hello, nobody. Boom. Here we are. Look out. Hey, Lou. We got three. Come on. It's Sunday night. Christopher Chen, you are number one. Thanks for dropping in. Hi, Christopher. What do your friends call you? Chris? CC? That's the track time. Yeah, members. Members, we like you best. I know you bought it, but it's still sincere. Check it out. I got my vintage Bill Stein shirt on. Some of my shock friends. I have several shock friends, including AST, who are on my M3, which is coming. We got that project coming. Check it out. My poster from the 2003 season. You can tell by that Audi right there. That's my Galati. I'm up here and I'm grayed out because I was new. But we won the championship. Galati's the greatest guy. We had fun teaming with him. That's an Audi RS6, which in 2003 had 450 horsepower, which was a lot in 2003. That made it one of the most powerful cars there was. All-wheel drive, twin turbo, 4.2 liter V8. And we raced one, and it was really a cool season. Had a ton of power, would eat the front tires because it had a lot of understeer. Until, how did we cure the understeer? With a differential that sent 67% of the power to the rear. Telling you, on a front drive, well, at least the Audi, you need at least 67% to the rear. And that balanced it so beautifully on power that once we did that, we started killing him. It was great. How do you like my YouTuber look here? I need sunglasses. Here, let's. Rebellion watches. Oh, yeah. Dakar. They got the watch. And I'm going to Dakar. Okay, what do we got? Leo Ahern, Leo in Colorado with RMVR. Hi, Leo. Do you have a Formula Ford that you let me drive? Rocky Mountain Vintage Racing, RMVR. I drive the Race Against Kids Cancer every year. And this year I got to drive a Formula Ford all weekend. Steve, oh boy, what was Steve's last name? You know him, Leo. Let me drive his freshly restored 1971 Winkleman Formula Ford. It was fabulous to drive, fabulous. We won 40 car class, starting last. Luke Walsh, hi everybody. Phelps Garage. Hey Randy, where's Phelps Garage? Everybody, go there and get worked on. He must be cool, or she, or both. Hey Randy, Leo and Ahern, shocking. Yeah, RMVR. You know, a lot of those cool RMVR guys let me drive their cars, and I absolutely love them for it. I drove I think it's a Boss Mustang, a 69, very original that was raced in 69. And I drove a Corvette mid-year, I don't know, what do they call the one? C3 from the 60s, mid-60s. Fabulous, sweetheart, very original car that, man, husband and wife team. He drives a big block, about 68. Might be an L88 car, and I drove the small block 60, can't remember, 6 or 7 coupe. Fabulous. That's the track time. I appreciate you, Randy. I appreciate you more. Thank you. Thank you for being a member. That's the track time. Everybody with the in red with the little flying moose is a member. This is great. Luke Walls, smash or hit the like button. If your insurance is too expensive, merely press or click the like button. Really? Okay. Yellow Lola T400. Okay, Leo, is that a Formula Ford? A T400? Sounds more like a sports racer. Pigpen. from Southern California. Thank you. Steve Mercer. Yeah, you know him. Thanks, Leo. Great guy. Good evening, Joseph Matuzak. Watching the grid life this weekend. No. Why? What happened? I hope nothing bad. Grid life is fun. It's young. Lots of pretty girls there. Women. Pretty young women. Gotta be careful how we say that. How was the motorcycle show, Luke? It was fabulous. I love them. But I went over there with some bikes to sell, and I sold all three. And really, that's mainly what I did. I went and watched the guys race Barber Motorsports Park for a few laps, and still fantasize about, man, I could race a motorcycle. I'd be good. I don't know. Leo, I'm on the way back from Hallett Race at CVAR with CVAR. Oh, okay, great. Cool, Leo. I hope you had a good weekend. Dan Clark, glad to hear the pediatric cancer support. You bet, Dan. Race Against Kids Cancer for the Morgan Adams Foundation. Morgan Adams is the daughter of Jill Slaughter, who runs the foundation and created it when her daughter Morgan died of cancer at 10 years of age. And it's so great the way she's given back. Mike S., your reviews of the 1LE helped me push one to drive one, which turned me into ordering one. You will not be sorry. Great handling car. Everything works. You can go straight to the racetrack and run it. Put premium gas in it. The brakes work. The tires work. The wheels, the cooling. Good move. You'll love it. It's a heck of a car. Did you get the SS? I have the 4-cylinder turbo. Let's see. Track time. By the way, my track car is my daily. I can't crack it up. Well, nobody wants to wreck a car. I don't care if it is your track car, right? I'm with you. How do I balance smoothness with the ability to catch cars at the limit? I feel that's one of my weaknesses. I'm told I'm really smooth, but I'm too slow to catch the car at the limit. Slow hands is fast. If the slide's too big and you got to catch it, fast hands. The best way to learn that is to have skid pad training, professional skid pad training. It's worth it. It might cost you $500 to $1,000 a day, but what does your car cost you? You can save your car over and over. I had won races before I worked for Skip Barber back in 1989, and yet I didn't have the car control to know how to catch a slide and straighten it out. You know, everybody knows when a car gets sideways, you steer into the skid, right? Well, if you catch it, the skid will stop getting bigger. Now the tires are going to hook up and they're going to go where they're pointed. Where are they pointed? They're pointed to the corner. They're pointed to the side a lot. So when you catch a slide, you got to be looking where you want to go and straighten that wheel. And I'm telling you, fast as you can turn it. When you're catching a slide that's too big, fast as you can correct it. If you're driving smooth and everything's right, slow and smooth. In corners. In a transition, you go one way, back the other way. You transfer that weight quickly. There's a lot to this. Okay, so Tesla track time, I recommend skid pad training. Do it with me, but I don't have a school. We would have to have a track and a car, and it's expensive. And where are you located, Tesla track time? I'll try to get your answer. Phelps Garage, what are your thoughts about the new 2022 Subaru BRZ? 2 thumbs up. As a street track car for a beginner, that thing is perfect. Good choice. I haven't driven it, but my very good friend Jason Camissa has, and he's got nothing but great things to say. There's a video on Haggerty's Icons YouTube channel about that car. The other BRZ is fabulous as well. It's just this new one is better, and one of the main reasons is it's got a lot more mid-range torque. The first generation BRZ, Toyota 86, Scion FRS, kind of a weak engine. I mean, it's fun to rev it and shift, but no mid-range. Kind of dead in the mid-range. But for a beginner, that's great. You know, Miata. But the BRZ FRS Toyota 86 has a small backseat and a trunk. It's just more practical than the Miata. The BRZ handles fantastically. And my friend Jason says the new one's even better. He called it perfect power and handling. The Miata, if you get out of a BRZ and into a Miata, it feels like you took the trailer off because it's about 500 pounds lighter, and you can't argue with that. Okay, maybe it's 400. It's a lot, but the Miatas tend to be oversteery and kind of twitchy and responsive, and I mean it's one of the best driving cars there is. But it's a little tail happy. Be ready for that. Okay, let's see, Mr. Shenanigans. I can't help but notice you didn't see me on List Freedom 500. I figure I know why. Yeah, I might go watch, but every time I see a Cletus video, they're spinning each other out, and that wall is hard, people. It hurts. So, as much fun as that is, I don't want to race YouTubers on a track with a wall around it, or at all, frankly. I don't. If I'm going to a demo derby, it's going to be called a demo derby, and it's going to be in a dirt parking lot where you can't get over about 20 miles an hour. Okay, but it would make a great show. I want to see the show. We're going to see the show. Tips for Watkins Glen. Yes. Turn 9, that's coming out of the boot, is the only corner that is not banked. You have to slow down more. Carry a lot of speed in, but then be patient in the middle. You don't have as much grip. Get that little bit of a late apex and then power out. Everywhere else, there's a lot of banking, and the car has great grip. It's one of the many things I like about Watkins Glen. Also, careful in the S's. Give the guy next to you some room. If he comes over on you, back off and get the heck out of the way, because the S's are kind of hairy, and you have to get cooperation from the guy next to you. That's turn 2, turn 3. The S's at Watkins Glen. By the way, maybe my favorite American track, but I love a lot of tracks. Laguna Seca, good old Thunder Hill, Sebring, Road Atlanta, AMP. Okay, Leo's got a 440. Oh, that's what I didn't think I recognized that number on the Lola as a Formula Ford. Not that I'm an expert on that. The 440s are quicker than the Formula. Oh, they're quicker than the Formula Vs. I don't know if they're running the Formula Ford. The 440 has one gear. It's got a constant, what do you call that? CVT, continuously variable transmission, with a 2-stroke engine, water-cooled 2-stroke 440. Let me tell you what, 2 strokes make power. The cars are fast. So yeah, I'm a little worried about the crashes in the Freedom 500. It's fun to watch. I don't think I want to be part of it. Mr. Shenanigans is a man who's raced just about everything as fast as you can. What's your daily driver? My daily driver is a Camaro, 2019. I'm rich, but I'm not that rich. I wanted something relatively expensive. Camaros depreciate rapidly, and I wanted a 1LE because every 1LE handles fantastically. I love their combination of ride and handling on the street, except for the ZL1 1LE, which is very stiff on the street. But it has 650 horsepower. You got to control that with a lot of damping and spring. Anyway, my 1LE 2019 Camaro is a 4-cylinder turbo. You heard me. 4 cylinders. 275 horse, 300 pound-feet of torque. It's quick. It's got a lot of bottom end. The little 4-cylinder pulls like a bear at 2,300 RPM when it comes on boost. And it comes on boost quick because it's got a turbo that is that big. And, I'm going to ruin it. I want to put a bigger turbo on it when it's out of warranty. Not dumb. Anyway, I love my Camaro. Yes, it's hard to see over the windowsills. Sometimes in a parking lot, you got to be careful with the curbs. But I think it looks good. It handles great. Everything works. The shifter, engine. I'm working on a Borla exhaust because it's too quiet. I want to hear that thing. And I've heard the Borla in their website. They have quiet, medium, and loud. I forget what they call them, like attack, and I forget, Borla, high quality. I've got them on my pickup truck. I put the quiet one on the pickup because when I'm towing my race car, I don't want to hear too much rumble for 500 miles. But I do like hearing it. Yeah, when you get on it, there's some there's some meat there. I'm talking too much. Thanks for coming on, you guys, man. I appreciate it. It's so good to talk to you. Luke, glad you sold some bikes. Yeah, I needed to. I got 16. There's with no room in the garage, and I've got 2 in the house and 1 at my neighbor's house down the street. So it's a problem. I have too many things, but I love them. They give me great pleasure. But it was time to let them go. And get this, a guy came up, looked at a couple of my bikes at Barber Vintage Motorcycle Festival. That's in Birmingham at Barber Motorsports Park, which is a motorcycle-oriented facility. They have a big vintage weekend. I go every year, and I take some bikes to sell, and I get a vendor spot. Good deal. You get 2 tickets, you get a parking spot, you get parking passes, you get a pass to the museum. Barber Motorsports Park has the greatest motorcycle museum I've ever seen. It's like 3 or 4 levels. The bikes are mounted on trees, they're in display cases. George Barber has even got motorcycles from the 80s and 90s, which is cool because that's when I was growing up. And I think they're super cool. Like my all-time favorite, a Honda CBX, 6 cylinders, looks like this. See that 6 pipes? Really cool. I'm talking too much. Okay, yeah, Camaro. Joseph Matuzak, yes, sir. Just wondering what you think of Road America versus Brainerd. They're both pretty fabulous northern courses. And what's the better course for intermediate level skill? Huh. I've only been to Brainerd a couple of times. I loved it. It has an incredibly fast turn 1 and a fast turn 2. Other than that, I don't remember there being a lot of walls around the backside of the course, which is good for an intermediate driver because you intermediates are the most trouble. You're just learning how to go fast, but you're not real good at it yet. And so if you crash, it's big. The rookies, they're worried and they're careful and they don't crash much. And if they do, they're going slow. Intermediate's the danger zone, up to and including instructors. And then you get up to pros don't crash unless some jerk off hits them in the vortex of danger. Vortex of danger is when the car ahead turns for the corner and the goofball tries to pass him. Because for a moment it looks like, oh, I can get there. I can make it. No, you can't. This car's heading for the apex. He's not looking at you. He can't see you. You can see him. Regular viewers, you know this speech. And by the time you get there, boom. And it's your fault. If the guy ahead of you has already turned and he's a fast car, he's a good driver, then you're not going to make it. If he's slow, you might make it. But watch him, don't hit what you can see. When you're trying to pass somebody, you're behind, you can see them. You know what they're probably going to do. What are they going to do? They're going to go into the corner. They're going to come down for the apex. What you got to do is get next to them before they turn. Unless, of course, they are Max Verstappen. And then he turns anyway and blames you. No. Max could see Lewis. This is the British Grand Prix. It's getting to be old news like 2 months ago. But I want to sell my and Terry Yearwood's passing standards that we wrote for the SCCA. It's just a guideline that has the vortex of danger and getting next to a guy in the brake zone so he can see you. Anyway, that's a racing talk. Where were we? Road America versus Brainerd. Brainerd, I think, has fewer walls. That's good. Road America has the kink, which is every bit as hairy as Brainerd turn 1 or 2, but with walls right there. And that makes me nervous. The kink is a very, very hairy corner in almost anything. and except a real high aero downforce car, which can do it easy flat, including like I think prototypes, even though they're going 150, they just stick. But a Honda CRX in the Firestone Firehawk series at 103 miles an hour was whoa. Okay, so I'm going to say Brainerd, but I love both those tracks. Road America is fantastic. It's thrilling. It's awesome. It's high consequence in a lot of the corners. You want to be really good at your car control, like we spoke with Tesla Track Time earlier. Car control is the best way to not crash. That and being smart in traffic about the vortex of danger. Be very careful if you're trying to pass a car that is ahead of you and can't see you. You're in his blind spot when he turns. So yeah, that's my long answer to that. Mike S., did I get the SS? Oh, where'd he go? Wow, thanks for all the questions. I better speed up. Did I get the SS 6-speed? It's replacing a 4th-gen Trans Am. It'll be the first car to take the track with turns. A drag racer. Oh yeah, you'll love it. If you like shifting, but learn how to match revs on it. Wait a minute. I think the SS will do it for you. You hit one of those paddles and it turns on the downshift matching revs. That's the trickiest part about driving a manual on a road course, is when you downshift, you want to match revs. You kind of got to match revs to go fast, so that when you downshift, you don't lock the rear wheels when you let the clutch up. You got to keep the revs up. Woomba! And yeah, you're good. Plan on paying for instruction and it's going to be great. Yeah, it is. Is your SS a 1LE? That would be even better. But it's going to handle so much better than your 4th-gen Trans Am. I can't tell you. 4th-gen. Wait a minute. Let me think of this. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Is that an F body? Yeah, that's an F body. Fun car. I have 2 race car F bodies coming together. Okay, Joseph Matusak. I bought a POS Caprice with ball tires in the snow to learn smoothness. I love it. Caprice is great, man. I don't know about bald tires. You're really making it hard on yourself. You need a little bit of traction to make it more realistic. Put some snow tires on that girl, and you'll have a little bit more realism, but it'll be low speed. And yeah, learn car control. Car control. 1, always look where you want to be. And in a corner, that's over here. Okay? Your fear is going to draw your eyes out. You must know to keep your eyes in where you want to be. Your car's going this way towards the trees, but you want to be over there on the road. Keep looking at the road, because everybody has hand-eye coordination. And if you look left or you look right, I did it backwards, you look right, your hands will follow you and turn that way. And your feet won't get on the gas until you're actually pointed that way. That helps your car control. So car control. 1, look where you want to be. 2, steer quickly. Catch the car quickly. Actually, it'll be a counter steer, won't it? And a slide, car control. Catch the slide. If you catch it, it'll stop getting bigger. It'll stop. There'll be a pause. Thank you, Skip Barber Racing School. There'll be a pause. When it pauses, keep looking where you want to be all the time. When it pauses, straighten it, because it's going to hook up and go where your wheels are pointed. All right? Correct? Pause, recover. Correct? Pause, recover. Always looking where you want to be. Corrections have to be fast, and they have to be a lot. And if you catch the slide fast, you got to straighten it back out and looking where you want to be. You're looking where you want to be. Car control in a nutshell. All right, talking too much. Here we go. Tesla track time. Station Air Force. Yeah, I knew that, didn't I? You're like my buddy Nate Dogg. He's in the Air Force, new Air Force pilot. Civilians shouldn't salute. Thank you for your service. My dad was Air Force. Vandenberg. Oh yeah, I went my personal top speed at Vandenberg Air Force Base on the shuttle landing strip. It's the backup shuttle landing strip. A lot of you may know that. 204 miles an hour in a Porsche GT2 RS. And the McLaren 720S was ahead of me and getting away. Jethro Bovington got 214 out of that before he lifted. Those McLarens are so powerful. Okay, cool. Love the Air Force. My dad. Good. Well, then Tesla track time. I'm going to race at Sonoma in December, the Lemons race with Jason Camissa. So be sure to come for that. We'll be in an old BMW. I think there's two of them. And I'm going to be at Sonoma again a little bit earlier with Holly on an electric vehicle track day at Sonoma. Even though I'm great friends with Unplugged Performance, in fact, we're like this, I'm going to show up with Holly, do some instruction, talk about electric cars. And at Sonoma, oh God, I should give you a date on that, huh? Let's find here. Let's find a date on that Sonoma Holly date with electric cars, November 13th and 14th. No, November 12 and 13 at Sonoma. Me, Holly, as in like Holly carburetors, but now they're making parts for electric cars. And my Unplugged Performance friends are so cool that they're okay with me going. Okay, I'm friends with everybody. I'm trying anyway. Okay, Joseph, back to GLTC at Grid Life this weekend. The kink did catch Kudal out though today. Oh, the kink is tough, people. Road America, high speed, 100 mile an hour plus corner, plus if you got downforce and power. Car Nerd, what do you think of a 2020 Toyota Corolla hatchback XSE 6-speed manual? I have one and it's fun to drive, but slow. Exactly. You're hired. Fun to drive, but slow. My good friend Christine has one that is a manual, but it's not an XSE. And she's very frustrated by its lack of power. And she was pulling out of her driveway and got hit from behind by a motorcycle. That was unfortunate. The motorcycle guy, there's a steep hill right before her driveway, way out in the country. Guy comes over the hill and there she is coming out of her drive innocently. By the way, he laid it down. Most of you, forgive me, who lay it down, it's because you don't know how to use the brakes on a motorcycle. You got to use mostly the front. Don't lock it, but that's where the braking power is. That's why the front brakes are 4 times bigger than the rear. Same with the car, but the car does it for you. On a motorcycle, mostly the front, not much rear. If you lock the rear, it's going to come around and you're going to lay it down. Laying a motorcycle down is a crash. It's not avoiding a crash. Most times you can stop. They only weigh 400 pounds. They stop fast. But anyway, sometimes you can't. People pull out in front of you, and that's a bad deal. I had a drunken lady put me in a ditch in North Carolina. It's just really pure luck I didn't get my right leg torn off. And I still ride. How smart is that? I love motorcycles. Okay, Car Nerd. Yeah, man, rock that Corolla. Nothing wrong with that, babe. Love it. The little less power keep you out of the jail and out of the hospital, just like my 4-cylinder Camaro. If I had an SS, I'd be in jail. I'd be drifting around the corner. The policeman would be sitting right there. He'd say, "You, over." But officer, don't you watch YouTube? I got a story for you about that when we have more time. Something to do with a roundabout in Central California at 2 a.m. with a beautiful young woman going from San Francisco back to Santa Barbara to get her suitcase, which was left at my friend's house because I told her to. Overnight trip to make a flight. Roundabout 2 a.m., Central California, a long way from any town. And I'm like, hey, let's drift this sucker. What do you think? We had a super cool, oh gosh, I can't remember if it was a Camaro or a Mustang. I think it was a V6 Camaro. And so I drifted the roundabout. First two times were kind of sloppy. Third time, perfect. All the way around. We pull out of there. You're getting to hear this story, folks. We pull out of there. I said, let's get the heck out of here. Drive down the road for a few minutes. And I'm like, good, I think we got away with it. Well, there wasn't anybody around. It's 2 a.m., middle of nowhere, outside of that shortcut on the 101, you know, when you don't want to cut over to the coast, a little bit north of Santa Barbara. Anyway, lights. Woo! They light me up. I'm like, oh, this is going to be big. And I pull over, interior light on, license on the wheel, hands on the wheel. I know what I'm doing. This is not my first time. Window down, officer walks up. He says, what the hell you think you're doing on my roads? And I went, screwing around, officer. I'm sorry. I'm screwing around. And he takes the flashlight and he looks out over at Gearhead Girl 69. Check out her YouTube page, Gearhead Girl 69. She has moved to New Zealand. Friend of mine, motorcycle, cars, that's it. And she's fantastic. She said next to me, she's still in her motocross gear. We had run a motocross race that day. And she's wearing a cape. It's a sponsor flag from the event. I don't know. He looks at her. She's 25 years old. He looks at me. He looks back at her with the flashlight. He looks at me. He says, how old are you? And I thought to myself for the first time, maybe I'm not going to get arrested. I'm definitely not going to get shot at this point. And the officers were super cool. They were good to me. They were good to me. Maybe because they figured I was lucky to be with this beautiful young woman, which I was. Just a friend. We're going to make that clear. Gearhead Girl 69. She's the greatest. Anyway, she was still in her muddy boots. And she says to the officers, like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry. That's Randy Pobst. You know, he's a YouTube guy. He's a racer. It's okay. You know what I'm thinking, shut up. This is not helping. But the officer said, well, you know what? We didn't see it. We heard it. And then we followed the smell. But rent-a-car tires are hard. You can make some smoke and not ruin them. I don't want to do any real damage. Just to, you know, have a little bit of fun. It was a polished asphalt. We didn't wear those tires, I promise. Anyway, he said, keep it cool. Get out of here and don't do it again. I was like, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Thank you. And we drove and they followed us for a while. Then they turned off. And then Gearhead Girls. Okay, there's my story. Sorry. Back road bender. I love it. Do you have a trigger phrase or anything that you think gets you in the mental space to drive the fastest pace? I am trying to find my need for speed again. I was born with it, back road bender. No, I don't. When I get in there, it just happens. I want it. And I just go, go, go. The best advice I can give you is to use 100% of your tire grip all the time. Not more, you slide, not less, you're slow. But stay within your limits because crashes suck. And we don't want crashing. Work on your exit speed first. Come out of the corner as fast as you can, get a good exit, and then start increasing your entry speed a little bit at a time until you find it difficult, and then back up. And also, back road bender, be consistent. But I'm afraid I've always wanted it bad. I always push. I was just born that way. It's a birth defect. Okay, Gananavaran Partiban. Wow, cool, man. Where are you from? Hey, Randy, hope you great weekend from Clemson, South Carolina. Of course, with a name like that, Clemson. What is the best experience you've had or your viewpoint on a Wankel engine powered car? Rotaries, low on torque, high on power. The best experience I had was when I drove with the Speed Source team at the 24 Hours of Daytona, the Rolex 24, in about 2008. Three rotor. That thing would cook. But you had to keep it in the power band. It had a narrow, very strong power band. They're a little bit like two-stroke motorcycle engines. When they're ported out, they're very revvy, and they have a rather narrow power band. They make an ideal race engine because there's very little reciprocating mass, and there are very few. There's none of that up, down, up, down, up, down. That is what breaks parts, because the piston has to go up fast, stop, and come down fast. Same with the valves slamming closed. With a turbo, you don't have that problem. This rotor is just running a little off center, and it's amazing. So, and plus a Wankel makes an incredible amount of power for its displacement, although the way to measure displacement is still under debate. Is it 1 liter or is it 3 liters? What's one? Is it all three or all six if it's a two rotor? Well, okay. So they're loud. Permanent hearing damage from that race. Get a good muffler. Take care of your ears, people. I know we love this sound, but take care of your ears. What? Philly D, sup? Yo, what up? Leo, 440 Club Ford. Oh, okay. I remember the T440. Did you have a typo early on there, Leo? You passed me off at our AKC. KC. Okay, cool, man. Lola T440 Club Ford. Club Ford is a great class. That's Formula Ford should have stayed right there. They never should have let them go inboard on the suspension and the Swift, where big guys don't fit in it. They ruined it. They should have kept it the way it was. It would still be a popular class. The cars are so much fun. They're fast. They're fast enough. They're so light. They stop fast. The crashes aren't too bad. Great class. Okay, RO Sevenard. Row Sevenard. Sounds like a rotary guy. Tiff Nadell told me he hated the sound of a rotary engine. Broke my heart. Hey, man, it's okay with the right muffler. Tone it down, or from the right distance. But permanent hearing damage. Once you permanently damage your ears, it does not come back. It's kind of like, I don't know, the platypus. Wait, we still have those, I think. But we don't have what's that pink river dolphin in China? They're all gone. And they're not coming back. I don't know if you could get any of the genetics. There's some pretty, I think they could actually make a dinosaur now. And if you've ever seen Jurassic Park, maybe that's not a great idea. Okay. Nexusly, no Tesla. No, I don't have a Tesla. Yes, I would love to have a Tesla. The electric cars, I'm telling you, in traffic, no downshift, boom, you are there. Instant torque into that hole in traffic, way before the GT3 RS figures out what gear it wants to be in. I'm telling you, it's amazing. Mr. Sheehan, thanks for the answers. Love the content. Thank you, sir. Jamils had a Borla exhaust in my previous STI. Yeah, they sound good, don't they? They're tuned. They really do that, like music. Yeah, Borla, top quality, not cheap, worth it. Joseph, brain seed for your mind. GM LTG transverse mount, sequential, Fiero. You know, they thought about putting a V8 in a Fiero. They actually built a couple of them, and they canceled the Fiero. Why? Because it was faster than the Corvette. It was a threat to the Corvette in the Chevy division, which is way bigger than Pontiac. Lewis Racing 1018. Would you ever drive someone's car for some reference laps? I have an SS1LE race car. I'll drive an SS1LE anytime. Actually, I'll drive anything that appears safe. I often get paid for that, and I got to make a living somehow. This is one of the very few things I can do. Can't sing. Well, sort of. Guess what? I was in a rock and roll band right after college. I was the lead singer. I wasn't very good, but it was my brother's band, and I was better than any of them were. Oh, that was great. Yeah, I would drive your car for a reference lap, and I would do very well in it because I know those things like the back of my hand. I hope you haven't modified it much because they're so perfect stock. If it's a race car, you probably have done a bunch of stuff. That's not the end of the world. It's still a good chassis. The Alpha platform has good geometry. How's the VW rebuild going? Jed Hacker, my brother. Jed, hey. I raced with Jed's dad and uncle, Carl and Paul Hacker, the Hacker Express, in this VW. I still have the car, a 1985. It's coming. Ask Chase Sterling in Denver, Colorado. What is his business name? I forget his business name. He's working on it. It's coming slow, but it's coming. I can't wait. Jed, come on down and drive it with me. You, me, and your dad. Would that be cool? I would like that. We had that was my early years. I was fast, but I didn't know how to race. And I kind of pissed off Jed's dad and his uncle because I didn't know what I was doing. Oh, I wish I had read about the vortex of danger and don't hit what you can see back then. But guess what? Nobody was teaching. Actually, I think Skip Barber was. I was too cheap to go to the school. A professional school is worth it. Good foundation will help you crash less. It's worth it. David Villalobos, Honda. I got a lot of Honda motorcycles. I don't currently have a Honda car, but my buddy Shin Feng does. Shin built a K-swapped Honda with the good suspension. Oh gosh, I can't remember what do they call those generations. It was one of the last ones that still had the upper lower control arm front suspension. Honda builds great engines too. The K20, K24, what an engine. Abram Racing. Let's see here. Uh-oh, where'd he go? I lost him. I'm going to have to answer quicker because these are like going away really fast. Sorry, folks. I'm working. Abram Barber has a great track too. Race there for the first time in August. Look forward to going back. August. It's hot in Alabama in August. And it's a great track. It's very windy. A lot of corners. It was made with motorcycle. I've never tracked a motorcycle, but I'm going to soon because at this point in my life, I've got nothing to lose. I would love to try a bike on track. What's your favorite Canadian track? Easy. Mont Tremblant, Saint Jovite, outside of Quebec, outside of Montreal. Love it. Love Motorsport. I've not been to Calabogie. I hear that's great. I also like Area 27. Is that what it's called? Way out on the way to Vancouver. Great track designed by Jacques Villeneuve. I hope that I get to design a track someday. If I design a track, every corner, mark my words, will be banked and will be increasing radius. You know why? Because that makes the car feel good. And if the car feels good, you have more fun. Yeah, decreasing radius corner is a challenge. It requires your skills. Screw that. I want to have a good time. And that's kind of like Watkins Glen is like that, except coming out of the toe of the boot. Watch out, it's not banked. You're rejoining the short course. It's off camber. You're not going to have the grip you have everywhere else. Slow down more and live with it. That's also how you go fast in the rain, by the way. Slow down and use the grip you got. All you can do is all you can do. If you push too hard, you're just causing yourself trouble, frustration, and you're probably going to crash. Write that down. Holland 3R. Hey, I know who that is. Hi, Rob. Which 3 or 4 Series BMW generation do you think the 3 no longer exceptional compared to its competition? The new 3 and 4 Series, Rob. Huge step forward in handling. Probably the best handling cars or BMWs I've ever driven. No Camaro 1LE, but they're great. I'm teasing. And what I really liked was the M4 with the manual. Even though the M3 has more power, a lot more power, because the transmission can handle it. The M4 with the manual, so good. And they're both just total sweethearts. They put power down. The manufacturers are starting to learn how to get this huge power and torque that current cars make, how to get it to the pavement. I love my Dodges, but they haven't figured that out yet. They just spin. The Charger, the Challenger, they're based on a 90s Mercedes. They need to change their geometry, and I don't think they've done it yet. They don't put power down. But the new BMW Holland 3R, yep. And, I like manuals, but if you live where there's a lot of traffic, get the automatic. It works great. You'll love it, and it has more power. Luke Walsh, Vortex of Danger this weekend, an IMSA VIR between Corvette and BMW. Oh, yeah, definitely. You'll see the pros. The pros are good at this stuff. Every once in a while, somebody tries too hard and dinks the guy ahead of him off the road. I'm always sorry to see that. But they can do a great job of working together. They know when they're not in there and they back off and leave room, the good guys. I saw a really good Michelin Challenge race from Road Atlanta a month or two ago. The drivers were doing such a great job. I was very impressed. Really close and competitive. GT4 cars are cool. Michael Joseph, did you always shuffle the wheel in your hands like at Pikes Peak, and why? Well, yes. For one thing, we learned that at Skip Barber Racing School. But I feel that I have much more control when my hand is in this range, pushing up on the wheel into the corner. I'm looking in, and then backing down. So once you get like this, you don't have the feel. Oh, no way. You have the feel that you do when you're pushing up into the wheel. Your right's your left's your right. It's just not good to go through a corner like this. Maybe in a hairpin. Definitely, if you have a yoke, you have to do that. The yoke doesn't give you any choice. But what I do is I reach up. I'm looking into the corner. I reach up and pull down and slide my other hand and then push up. And if you time it right, that's all you do. Push up. And then when you're coming out of the corner, it's the opposite. Lower that hand and slide the other one and then come up back to straight. Boom. You want to move your hands as little as possible on the wheel without going over center. I don't believe in going over center. It's not a good idea. You don't have good feel, and you don't have to in a good handling car. Occasionally, a really pushy car, or if you have a yoke. Yokes are getting to be so popular, but I'm not a big fan. But they do give you a beautiful view of the dashboard. You can sure see the gauges great. Timothy Wakowitz. Hi, Timothy. Randy and everyone, how about a 5-cylinder 2.3 for the Flyin Moose? So appreciate your high vibrating energy, brother. I love this stuff. Thank you. Thank you. You know what? I would love to have, he's talking about the 5-cylinder Volvo engine that was in cars like my K-Pax S60. They made 200 to 220 horsepower stock at low boost, 4-valve head, 2.3 liter or 2.5 liter. Sorry, 2.5 liter. And depending on the year, I think maybe the 850s had the 2.3. The S60 had a 2.5. Yes, I would love to have one of those in my car because easily it's 100 more horsepower. Who's going to argue with that? And the 4-valve per cylinder, your turbo doesn't work as hard. All the heat comes down. It's more efficient. Spark plug is centrally located in the combustion chamber. You get better swirl with 2 intake valves and 2 exhaust valves. I love that idea, Tim. You know your Volvos, man. And I understand they make adapters because I've got the M90 transmission from Europe. Some nice old lady on a ranch was driving, not a ranch, what do they call them in England, an estate. They they have a diesel 5-speed. They shift with their left hand, so you know they're not shifting too hard. Okay, any experience with factory 5 kit cars? Yes. I was personally considering buying one. Great value, great looking, a lot of work to build one, even though they come with a lot of parts. It is a lot of work. Just go into that with your eyes open. The Daytona Coupe is pretty darn cool. They tend to be really loose. The factory 5 people like a car to be active, kind of like an Ariel Atom or like a stock Miata, and especially the NA or the ND. So be aware of that. If it were me, I'd put a big front sway bar on it and stabilize it more. But what a fun project. You use a Mustang drivetrain and a factory 5 kit, and you put that underneath a Cobra body, Shelby Cobra type body or coupe. Pretty cool. They also have the 4GT looking thing. And I don't know much about how that handles. I've raced against one many times at the 25 Hours of Thunder Hill. But Joe, if you got a lot of time on your hands, do it. What a fun project. Then invite me. I'll come out and we'll drive it and we'll do a video. John Frew. Hi, Randy. Great show tonight. Thank you. I love this. I'm so glad to see all of you guys on here. I'm not answering enough people. Have you ever been to Wheels Through Time? Oh, yeah, I've been through Wheels Through Time in Maggie Valley, North Carolina. It's a motorcycle museum run by one guy, amazing guy. I went there with my girlfriend, Robin, like 15 years ago, and Robin was really pretty. Hi, Robin. I'm sure you're not watching, but she's a wonderful person. And he liked Robin, and we got a personal tour through the entire museum. He's got period correct displays. It's incredible. It's in Maggie Valley, North Carolina, which is like North Georgia, East Tennessee, Western North Carolina. It's right in that area. I wish it was in downtown Atlanta where 1 million people a year would go. But anyway, it's in Maggie Valley, up north, near North Georgia, just north of South Carolina. And guess what? I'm leaving, and the owner, I can't remember his name, super cool guy. I mean, he put together a crankshaft for us. He was amazing. He is amazing. He says to me, he says, you want to drive? You want to ride one? You don't drive a motorcycle. You want to ride one? And I'm like, what? I said, yes. And he rolls out a 1942 Harley Davidson military bike, kicks it over, fires it up, and says, here you go. And I took it around the building twice. Can you believe that? I don't. This was 15 years ago. I mean, I raced cars, but it's not, I don't know. It's not like I was a YouTube personality or something important. So yeah, that place is fantastic. Oh, where are we? I've got to answer quicker. Okay. Okay. Joseph, I've been in the vortex many times. Mind your gaps. Yeah. You watch that guy ahead of you. He's probably going to come down. Don't hit him. We can make this work. Because crashes suck. Okay, Wheels Through Time. Jimmy Jones. How much did you enjoy setting Road Atlanta record in the Porsche? I could hear you from that day from my house. Really? That's cool, and it's sad at the same time. They're building so many houses around Road Atlanta out here near where I live. I'm worried that the track's days are numbered. And this was a stock 911 GT2 RS. But Jimmy Jones, that's one of the best days of my life. The car was crew chiefed by a PR guy at Porsche, Frank Wiesman, good friend of mine. That guy can set up a car for me anytime. Basically a stock GT2 RS, and it had probably a little track alignment, a little extra camber on the front, but whatever he did, it was so beautifully balanced. And the GT2 RS is in general. And the reason, don't modify your .2 RS, GT3 or GT2 RS. They're perfect the way they come. You're only allowed to do a track alignment. Don't put toe out in it. Don't change the shocks. Don't change the bars. It's perfect. I know you want to modify it. You're going to screw it up. Part of the reason is a guy named Lars Kern. He's a chassis development driver for Porsche who has risen the ranks, and he had a lot of influence on that Porsche, and he understands good handling. Before Lars, they used Porsche factory drivers, mostly very young, extremely talented drivers who grew up doing what? I heard it out there, racing go-karts, or no, not go-karts, racing karts. Never have a kart racer set up your car. Karts have a solid rear axle and they must be driven loose. They must be driven with oversteer to go fast. Not a good idea in a car which is 3,000 pounds heavier, and it's just not even necessary. Mark my words, write this down. A good handling car practically drives itself. You don't have to catch it. You're not whipping that wheel around. You just lay that in there. This is a Camaro 1LE. This is a Porsche Dot 2 GT RS 3 or 2. Okay, sorry. Chev Dad, did you see the NASCAR Xfinity race at Road America going through the kink? I did not. Probably impressive. NASCAR or not, those guys can drive, especially Andy Lawley and Spencer Pumpelly. I'm always rooting for them when they get NASCAR rights because they're two fantastic American drivers that are great road racers, and they get a shot in the NASCAR ranks every so often. In fact, I think those two guys should be driving a Corvette, some American race car at the track. I'd love to see that. You know, American race cars, American drivers. This just makes sense. Okay. Thank you, Randy. The legend. Well, I don't know, but I love it, and I'm always going to give it my best shot, buddy. Patrick Lipsinick. I shouldn't pronounce these names. I hope I'm close, Patrick. I had an example of the vortex of danger at the runoffs on video and photos. Oh, you want to send that to me? Or maybe on Instagram? Maybe I'd even post that. We have to get this information out there so people don't try that straight to the apex pass. Like this, when this guy turns, if this guy tries to go on in there, it's not going to happen. It's going to be a crash. You're going to hit this guy in the back and spin him. And you're going to say, he turned in on me. And the other guy's going to say, I never saw him. He hit me in the back. The other guy is right. You're wrong. Don't hit what you can see. That applies to corner entry. If you can see the car, he's heading for the apex. You know what he's doing. He can't see you. His mirrors aren't even turned the right way anymore. You're in his blind spot. You're back here. He's going, I know there's a guy back there. I can't see him. Don't hit him. It's your responsibility. Hang back, get out of the way, get him later. Okay. Mr. Shenanigans. I have a chance to buy a CB 950. 950, probably not. 900, probably. Late 80s with a 2-speed diff. Oh, yeah, that's a custom. I didn't like them, but if you like them, that's fine. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Yeah, it had a 2-speed, it had high and low range, 10 speeds. I currently ride a CB 500F 2013, sweetheart, nice mid-range bike. Would it make for a fun weekend cruiser, or is it good enough bike to replace the 500? Oh, it's way better than the 500. You know why? It's old. It's cool. It's vintage. It's a custom, it's kind of a cruiser style. But, if that's your style, do it. It'd be so cool. And you got that dual range transmission, and the engines are still good even 50 years later. This thing's late 80s. It's 2021. We're 50 years. We're a solid 50 years. No, we aren't, but we're getting there. 35 years. My biggest worry about finding parts and not being able to carve corner. Yeah, it's not going to handle as good as your 2013 500. No way. But will it be fun? Yes. Can you get parts? Yes. Those Hondas are common enough that you can find parts. Someone two wheels in the grass at turn 4. Two wheels in the grass, not a good idea. I got taken out that way in Utah once. Jacob McNabb. Hey, buddy, how are you? I know Jacob through my friend Tracy Gordon out there in California. I met Jacob and his mother Susan, right, Jacob? Good to see you, buddy. M. Tinker. Saw you at PCA event at Chuckwalla a few years ago. When are you going to join us again? Oh man, Lucky Dog Racing Series is going to Chuckwalla in just a couple weeks. And I wanted to go real bad, but my buddy Shin's not going to be able to have that Honda ready. So I think I'm going to go to Florida and go coach my buddy Travis. We shall see. He's been so good about asking me. By the way, this is Rebellion for my watch. For those of you just tuning in, little promo, Rebellion watches. They're taking me to Dakar in Saudi Arabia in January. I'm going to be a correspondent from the Dakar Rally. Unbelievably cool. They have two V8 mid-engine buggies. Last year they had Ford 5-liter V8s. Probably run the same thing this year. I don't know. Let's see. Joseph, 4th gen is the catfish body. Yeah, it is. Got that long nose and it's a bottom breather. Gets its air from underneath. So make sure you keep that air dam on there. I have one that's a Lemons car and I have one that is a World Challenge car, and they're both super cool. Patrick, Air Force for 29 years for my dad. Oh, your dad was Air Force too? Is that what you mean? Good. Air Force. All the Force, Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines. That's for you disco guys from the 80s. We care a lot. Remember that song? Yeah, maybe. Hey, Randy, you ever driven an LS swap Miata? Yes, I have. I've been considering swapping my 94 for track duty. Yeah, too much. Too much is what I say about an LS swap Miata. The cool setup is a K swap Miata. Put a Honda K24 in there. I just raced one. Unbelievable. The LS is just too powerful. The whole car kind of goes, it goes crazy. But a K feels really right. And it's a great engine. That's just my opinion. There's also a company called V8 Roadsters, and believe it or not, they make a V6 conversion. They use a GM V6, 300 horse, just a better balanced package. The Miata is just, it's too much with an LS in it. I'm sorry. That's my opinion. And I don't like the short shift kits on those Tremecks either. I would leave it stock, at least at first. So I have driven them, and they're pretty hairy. What's that really good LS swap company out of Flyin Miatas out in Grand Junction, Colorado? Drove one there. Great fun. But what a beast. What a beast. And for track duty, if you're going to run that kind of power, you better change everything. Motor mounts, radiator, transmission, rear end, drive shaft, brakes. And then what do you end up with? A Corvette, like a small Corvette. If you want a Corvette, go get a Corvette. Call me crazy. I don't know. K-swap. I'm telling you, that's the hot tip. Maybe with a little arrow. I just raced one at the Ridge in Lucky Dog Racing. God, it was great. And it was so fast. Because it was balanced. It was light. It was powerful. It was not like too much. Patrick, and I work for them. You work for the Air Force? Does that mean you're not in the Air Force? You work for the Air Force, like a civvy? That's good. Danny O'Hays, nice. Yeah, same to you. Luke Walsh, thanks. I was going to ask when Sonoma Race was. You bet. You live just north of there. Come on down, Luke. Be good to meet you. Christian Haba, big fan from Canada. Sorry. E46 M3 or a new G80 M3? G80, is that the current one? The 22? because you may have heard me say to Rob Holland, the new one. I just did a video with Jason Camissa for Haggerty Icons. Look it up on YouTube. Oh, those new M3, M4, they handle beautifully. The E46 M3 is a fantastic car. It's old. Those things are 20 years old now. Stuff's going to go wrong. It may be frustrating. The new ones, perfect, as is, go. So that's really your choice. Those are two very different cars. They're both great to drive. The E46 M3 is going to need some prep to be a successful track car. They have rod bearing issues. They have, I think, a scary oil pump issue. That might be the 330. You got to make sure the oil pump oiling is good. The Vanos wears out. You want to keep that fresh. That's the adjustable cam timing assembly. But a good E46 is a heck of a great car. So is a good 330. And you can buy a 330 cheap. You got to spend some money on it, but you end up with a car that's fresh and is going to race for a long time. We, with Craftsman Auto Service Racing from Virginia, we won both races in our class, GP3, at the WRL VIR just like 3 weeks ago in a 330. It was a fantastic car to drive. Matt Curry, the team owner, had it set up so well, and Matt didn't wreck it. He's learning to control his high energy on the track. Good for you, Matt. Love you, man. Tiptoe the Rat. Oh, yeah, I can relate. Vortex of Danger, maybe? Yeah. Is Holly going to try to hop up an electric car? Yes, Chef Dad. They're going to have performance improving pieces for electric cars. They're a competitor of my friend's Unplugged Performance. But right now it's kind of like a family because EV is so new. And Unplugged really concentrates on Tesla. They're close. Okay. Wish the Toyota GR Yaris was available in the USA. Yeah, me too. There's still some good stuff we don't get, but more than before. Road America, Tiptoe the Rat. The kink has done me and my buddies in. I hear you, man. Let's see. Have I wrecked there? No, I have never crashed there. Hear that? That's me knocking wood. But I've had some close calls, and I have spun there with a student. Oh, I think I had just finishing saying, now don't lift. But that's teaching in the negative. Maybe I should have said, stay in it. That's a better training technique. Teach in the positive. Stay in it, not don't whatever. Because when you say don't lift, they're like, lift? No, stay in it. Okay. Chef Dad, well, they do have engine management, so it's not that much further to assume. Joseph, I can't tell quite what you're talking about, but I see. There was a question about the Mustang Mach 1 10-speed versus the Tremec. I still prefer the manual because I enjoy that experience. I recommended the automatic 10-speed to my friend Jack because he is a man of a certain age and a certain weight, and he finds it very difficult to match revs on a downshift. And the automatic does all that for you. Jack is going to love that Mach 1 once they get the stability control sorted out. It's got some sort of an issue. I don't know. We haven't figured it out yet. Because that 10-speed is great on track. The 10-speed on the road, I find it to be too busy because it has 10 speeds. So there are like 5 overdrives. So when you slow down, it goes, blah, 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 and it's in 10th or 9th or 8th gear. And when you accelerate, it's got to go blah, 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 and get back to a good gear. And in a manual, you pick it. But I agree, manuals are really awful in big traffic jams, and there's more and more of those. So your choice. But the 10-speed is great on track. And you don't have to learn how to match revs on downshifts. It does everything for you really well, beautifully. By the way, that is very similar to the 10-speed that's over at GM in the Camaros and maybe some other cars. The SS, one of the best secret cars ever. Okay. CB, that's how most people drive in North Carolina. Vortex of danger. No, North Carolina, they can drive. They do tend to cut that yellow line on the mountain hairpin, so I'm not a big fan of that. It was probably somebody from Florida. You know what I'm saying? Golf GTI, still best low cost hot hatch. GTI is a wonderful road car. Historically, they have been really good up to about 80%. And then if you go faster than that, they don't work anymore on track. The stability control can't be turned off. They bottom the front suspension. They understeer too much. Great street car. The Mark 8 GTI, I don't know. My friend Jason Camissa bought one, which is a sign. He says they're much better. I don't know. We shall see. Let's see. Luke has a Corolla hatchback SE. It's a Matrix, a warm hatch. Toyota is planning a GR Corolla hatchback for North America. Yeah. Let's have fun with these ICE cars, internal combustion engine, while we still can. Officer, let me go. I'm the fastest on Laguna Seca. Yeah. I haven't tried that line yet, but I might. I just threw myself on the mercy. That's an old Dale Carnegie theory. If you admit guilt right up front, then the other person tends to have mercy. Not always, but I said, officer, we were just screwing around. Sorry, man. It was the truth. Tiptoe the Rat. Randy, thoughts on the WRL? I like it. And the cars are fast. They've hit a niche of endurance racing with more expensive cars, but not IMSA yet. It's interesting. Seems a lot of wrecking going on in said club. I like the WRL, but my team is worried that we'll get wrecked or hurt. We have raced with them 3 times in the past. Vortex of danger. We need more vortex of danger training because WRL does have a lot of fast cars, and these are driven by successful businessmen mostly who have a tendency to drive like they own the world. Sorry, guys. And you have to respect the slower cars, and you have to realize that you can't keep sticking your nose in when the guy ahead of you is already entering the corner. This is a fundamental concept that I want to preach to the FIA because in Formula One, they don't understand it. Formula One. I want to bring this to the Formula One. And so, for one thing, passing needs to be better defined. There needs to be a standard. There is not a standard. And the reason for that is one, everybody has not been to the Skip Barber Racing School, which does a great job with that. Two, because it's not written down anywhere, but it is now in the SCCA General Competition Rules in Appendix A. No, it's probably not A. In one of the appendices, Terry Yearwood, one of the greatest instructors of all time, still working for Skip Barber Racing School, and I wrote this up to create a standard, something everybody can live by and understand. Because guess what? When you're on the grid, every single person on that grid and every steward has a little bit different idea about what a safe pass is. There's this one friend of mine who wins all the time. He says, what are we going to do? Take the mirrors off the car? You should know where every car is all the time. How are you supposed to know where a car is when you can't see it? Are you entering a corner and you're going, oh, where is he? Not if you're fast, you're not doing that. And when you have a lot of experience, you can get better at that. I remember my beloved client, Sarah Edge. Sarah got killed in a car crash on the street. She didn't get away. She just ran out of luck. I don't know what happened. But in her very first practice start, she got hit from behind in the vortex of danger. This guy came in there, and her advisor who worked for the club said, you should have known he was there. How is a driver with an X this big on the back of her car supposed to know somebody back here is dive bombing her when she's heading for the apex? Not only that, but that guy argued at the rookie driver's school the night before. They read my own article about the vortex of danger. And he's like, oh, no, I've never raced, but that's not how it is. Yeah, right, buddy. How'd that work out for you? People. But the better we educate our racers, the safer it will be. And I am good friends with the WRL. And I say, go do it and drive smart and keep your eyes on your mirrors and watch out for those guys coming. Be aware, some of them are going to come anyway. And if you feel it or you worry about it, drive a lane wide, leave a lane. I know this is not your fastest strategy. I know you have a right to the corner. It's better to avoid the crash. First priority. In any crash, there's two people involved. It takes two to tango. And sometimes you have to get out of the way. That's another way to define an improper pass. An improper pass, Max Verstappen, is a pass that requires the car ahead of you to get out of the way or you're going to hit them. That is not a proper pass, people. That is a late move. If you make a move like that, guess what? The guy's not going to see you and he's not going to get out of the way and you're going to hit him and you're going to blame him, but it's your fault. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's move on here. I've never had a crash in the WRL. My co-drivers crashed in the first stint while leading 2 times in a 14-hour weekend. First stint. Both times, it was the vortex of danger. The guy ahead of them was slower. He turned for the corner. They tried to get in. They didn't make it. Boom. Race over. Look into the eyes of your 3 co-drivers who wanted to drive, who were counting on you to bring that car back. Okay, I get carried away. Long arm of the law. Yeah, buddy. Got you. Luke Walsh, Santa Cruz. No. North of Santa Barbara. Could be Santa something. There are a lot of Santas in California. They were watching you through binoculars. No, I think they were just sitting in their car, kind of relaxing at 2 a.m. and they heard. That means these comments were written a long time ago. I'm way behind you guys. I'm sorry. Corolla handles so well. Unlike the 86, the torque curve doesn't follow at high revs. Really? It revs out? The Corolla XSE? Great. Let's hear it for the little cars. I love them. Rob Holland, LOL. Yeah, buddy. He's great. I see Rob at Pikes Peak Hill Climb every year. He's going for the front wheel drive record and almost made it. Had a heck of a good catch. Jack Straw. Hi, Randy. Hi, Jack. Jordan Harkema. Got a pair of cars I wonder what you think about. 90 Trans Am GTA, loads of fun, cheaply built, no high RPM, all torque. And a 92 Camaro B4C 1LE. I had one, buddy. Loved it. Great handling car, cheaply built, flexi frame, you know, but the balance in the corner, I loved it. And for the max track time, shift at 4,200 RPM. That was 1992. I'm sorry. That's all you got out of a 305 Chevy, 4,200. But I loved it. Luke Walsh, was she pretty enough to wish for a column shifter? No, because we were just friends, Luke. And you can be friends. And Gearhead Girl's super. I mean, look at her channel. She lives in New Zealand now. Marine biologist, diver, car racer, motorcycle rider, motorcycle track dayer. She's got a cool channel. Reno, just friends, Amy Winehouse. I love Amy Winehouse. I'm so sorry she's gone. She had a problem with the bottle. You know that I'm no good. See, Amy Winehouse. Maybe you didn't notice. Yeah, they followed the smell. Oh, damn, I'm way behind you guys. Forgive me. I'm skipping forward. Sorry, friends. Cooper Astro, I love the driving etiquette. Could you give a rundown on essentials for a beginner? I think I did. The vortex of danger, the driving essentials. Be smooth and look ahead. If you're looking ahead into the corner, into the inside edge of the corner as you approach, it will help you do everything else right. Basics. Dolby 109, crap, I'm late again. Yeah, but you're here. Thank you. That's because I just popped up. My friends say I should plan these things, but I never know until the moment, Shoot, I was ready to go to bed. Then I talked to my friend about it, and I thought, I love talking to my people. Comments are at the top, way up there. Uh-oh, I'm missing something. KW, sorry. Dolby. So Randy did some asking, and the 987s are also sensitive to lowering, yes, and require a rear tow bar to keep it near stock alignment with much lowering. Oh, thank you. He's talking about Porsche Boxster Cayman. Some generations, when they're lowered, their rear geometry gets screwed up and they get rolled toe out. It makes them too dicey at turn in. And people give them a break because they're like, oh, it's a Porsche. They're supposed to do that. No, it's not right. They handle better at stock ride height because that's what they were designed for. When you lower a car, you can screw up a lot of things because the geometry changes. And one of them is a 987 Porsche. I think a lot of the Caymans and Boxsters don't like to be real low because it screws up their dynamic toe change. One way to help solve that is run a lot of toe in. Now, your engineer friends are going to say, oh, that causes a lot of drag. Well, if you don't think you're going to spin out when you're under the corner, you're going to be a lot faster. Mark my words. That's one way to cure it. Run a lot of rear toe in. Dolby, hey, thanks for the cash. If you're ever up in Dayton, Ohio, that's where I was born. I get there. My friend Mark Francis lives there. And want to review drive my Suzuki Cappuccino. Hey, a K car, right? Little 2-seat, 600cc. For your channel, let me know. Oh, man, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Deal. I won't remember. Remind me. I get up to Ohio every so often. I was up there testing a car called the Cardinal, made in Columbus. Super cool 1,900-pound car with a Ford EcoBoost engine, transmission, rear end. It's a rocket. It looks like an early 60s Alpha GTZ, I think it was, or a Ferrari 250 GTO. Really cool car. Morpheus. Yeah, it gets squirrely when low. Yeah, it does. Have I ever raced a 289 or 427 65 Cobra on track? I have not. Replicas? Real one? No. So line me up. The replicas can be diabolical. There's a couple brands that are done very well that handle pretty good. I think one is Superformance that are done pretty darn well. Okay. You already drove my other K car. Was that you, Dolby? I drove the Honda Beat at Pit Race. Was that you? Dude, thank you. These are 600cc Japanese market cars. They're not allowed to have any more than 600 cc's, but they put a turbo on them and they rev to like, I don't know, was it 12,000 RPM, like a motorcycle? They're not that fast, but they're so much fun. They're super light. Fun car. So cute. And I fit barely. KW's in Dayton too. Let's hear it for Dayton, Ohio. Jacob McNabb. Hey, Jacob. When will you be at Willow Springs next? Would love to come out. I was just there and I missed you. I was there like a week ago shooting a video with Jason Camissa for the BMW M5 CS. I don't currently know when the next time I will be there. Just follow. Okay, Jacob? Say hi to your mom too, please. I hope you're doing well. Have I ever raced in Australia? Victor Bitter. Yes, I have. I raced the American Le Mans there at New Year's in 2001. New Year's 2000 at the end of the year. Is that 2001 or not? I had a good time. That was in Adelaide, street circuit, Adelaide. I had a shot at winning the championship all the way up till the end of the race. If the guys in the Porsche ahead of us had wrecked out, we'd have won it. Didn't work out that way, but it was great. Thank you, Peterson Motorsports, for letting me drive with you down there. I think my co-driver was Mike Fitzgerald. It was in 2000. Jacob, you weren't even born yet, buddy. Dolby 660 cc's. Okay, that's a K car. K-E-I-K. Cool. Thanks for the ride in the Honda Beat at Pit Race. Where did I get the hat? I got it from Rebellion Watches, man. I don't know. You can maybe they give you one if you buy a watch. This was $3,700. I'm not kidding. They have one called a tourbillon. Tourbillon, it looks like tourbillon. And it has a big round shape on it. It's crazy. 300,000. I want one. Probably not going to get one. Sun JR, Camaro 1LEs are magic, eh? Well, they're well balanced, always. And they can take the track without anything breaking or overheating. How come they do a way better job than the Corvette team? Their chassis and suspension calibration is amazing. One reason has got to be Al Oppenheiser. He ran the team over at the Corvette side. I think they were too comfortable with oversteer. They thought that was sporty. There are people in this world who think oversteer is sporty. And I say, no, a car should be balanced. Also, the Camaro shares the Alpha platform, Alpha, with that's A-L-P-H-A, not like the Italian car. And they share it with Cadillac, and there may have been more money in the development available. The Corvette has always been a little side job, and we're very lucky Chevrolet has had this car all these years. And Johnny Lieberman says the C7 Corvette was actually a bankruptcy car because it was being developed in the early 2000s when GM was bankrupt. You might recall Uncle Sam stepped in and saved Chevrolet or General Motors in general, by giving them some loans, which I believe have all been paid back, all taken care of. GM is strong as ever, making better cars than ever, like the new CT4 and CT5 Blackwing, both of which I drove a week ago with Jason Camissa, and they're fantastic. And the CT4 Alpha platform handles a little better. CT5V, more powerful and a great fun ride. Peter's Auto Vlog. Hi, Randy. Hey, Peter. Have you ever driven a road car in another country that you wish we had here in the U.S.? I've driven in other countries, mostly Europe, a little bit in Australia, a little bit in New Zealand. I haven't got to drive many cool cars there. You know what is one? It's old. VTEC Honda CRX. I wish we had a Honda VTEC CRX here. I wish we'd had a a K20 CRZ, the hybrid. If they had put a real motor in the engine in that to go with the electric motor, what a cool sports car that would have been. Road car in another country I wish we had here in the U.S. When I was in South Africa, they were still making, or they had just quit making, Mark I VW Golf Rabbits. I wish we were still making those and selling them for about $9,000. How cool that would be. They probably wouldn't meet the emissions and safety regs, Favorite albums? What? You mean like a music question? Tool, greatest hits. I love Tool. Hard rock with a brain and passionate. Other favorite albums. What can I say that's smart? I don't know. Led Zeppelin, greatest hits. That's old. Something new. I can name songs better than albums. Please don't hate me. Radiohead. I dig Radiohead. I like Bruno Mars until I saw him on the corner of Rolling Stone smoking a effing cigarette. I'm not a fan of encouraging young people to start smoking. I don't think that's a good idea for them or us in general. But yeah, Bruno Mars, Uptown Funk, super cool. Sia, anything by Sia, the singer, like Chandelier, and the music video, that, and what was the other one she did with the same little girl, a little girl, like 10 years old, dancing ballet in her music videos. Unbelievable, fabulous, entrancing, just a great show. Um, yeah, favorite albums. I wish I had a better answer for you. I don't. Beach Boys, anything with cars. Little Deuce Coupe, Little GTO. Well, that's not the Beach Boys. That might be Jan and Dean. No, I can't remember. It was somebody else. Joseph, I got to drive a couple K cars in Okinawa when I was stationed there. Hey, thank you for your service. They are every bit as light as you all think they are. Typhoon would throw them like tumbleweeds. Oops. We got to look out for that, don't we? Tiptoe the Rat met you at Lemons many years ago. Yeah, I love Lemons. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Dolby 109, I got you. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. My carpal tunnel will check the vids. Good. My first Randy live stream, Lime's playlist. Hey, man, you know, it's fun. It's like instant friends. When I run into people that recognize me every so often, especially at the racetrack, but I mean at the airport, at the 7-Eleven, wait a minute, 7-Eleven convenience store, at the gas station. It happens. And I'm not famous enough for that to be a problem. I really enjoy it. It's cool. Oh, here we go. Steve Halterbeck. Steve, thank you. Thanks for the advice at Thunder Hill a few weeks back with Nate. Steve White, 1LE. Oh, yeah, you bet. Nate Dogg, my Air Force buddy, also has a Camaro 1LE. I know people besides just Camaros, but Nate had invited me to come drive a street drive, like a cruise for all GMs. Oh, Steve, what's the name of that great dealership out there that's got a really strong high performance department? Chevy dealership, Able? Might be Able Chevrolet, in between Sacramento and San Francisco. Those guys were great. We had all these Corvettes and Camaros out on this drive. There was a Cadillac. It was all GM. I'm trying to think what else we had. Might have been a Solstice. Hey, you're welcome, Steve. Good to meet you, and thanks for the pip. Appreciate it. R.I.P. Pink River Dolphin, Rob Holland. Oh, you know about that, Rob. Sad. Yeah. Oh, Irrawaddy Dolphin. Yeah, Luke. Yeah, I think that's the one. Or is Irrawaddy the one with the long snout? I'm not sure. Let's see here. Shahu Usman, has he ever mentioned the new Lotus Emira? No, I don't know about that car. I have two friends that bought them and love them. I have not had the pleasure of driving one. And I have found Lotuses in general to be on the twitchy oversteer side of handling, which is not my favorite. But actually, I really love the Elise in spite of that. But for regular people, that car is very spinnable. Make sure you get your car control training. Correct. Pause. Recover. You got it? We talked about this earlier. Look where you want to go. Correct and recover. Trick thing about a slide is you're going into a corner. If the car starts oversteering, now you have to steer the opposite way of where you want to go, catch it, and then fix it and go back to where you want to go. We can talk about it all day, but it's hard to get it from a page in a book. Oh, yeah, there were people that know that we lost the that Pink River Dolphin. That's sad, but King Cobra, the GM stick rev matches downshifts, though. No need for the auto. Yeah, true. What do I think about Button Willow? Went there for the first time and it was so fun. Ajit Mirwani. Love Button Willow. Guess what? Almost no walls. Isn't that nice? There's very few places you can hit a wall there. Coming on the front straight, it's about it. You can go out and get really dirty or really muddy. Let's see. B. Tracy is helping me out here. Said for information, write randypopesproductions@gmail.com. In fact, all of you can write randypopesproductions@gmail.com with any specific requests or questions or whatever you want. Is Jason McCamisso a good drummer? I don't know. Is he funny? Yes. Is he creative? Yes. Is he a great guy to hang out with? Yes. Is he a diva? Yes. Is he very knowledgeable about cars? Yes. Do I love him? Yes. We have a great, we have a great time. Jason's team for his video show with Haggerty Icons is so cohesive. Everybody likes each other and they work so well together that when I get to be a part of it, I really enjoy it. Um, it hey, thank you. So Michael Barr likes the Haggerty shows with us, so thank you. We just did one. It's going to be out. It takes 2 or 3 weeks to get the editing together. I mean, we shoot for 2.5 days to make a 15-minute show. That's really how it is. You wouldn't believe it. Director Anthony Esposito is magic, and he knows every shot he wants. And we have to set it all up, get the shot, and then they have an editor who I don't think I've met, who puts it all together. Here's Lord Malice. There's a name. Hey, Randy, big fan. I have a twin turbo Mark MKZ with all-wheel drive. Now there's an unusual one. Lincoln MKZ that I can race. Okay, dude. He's got a funny face. I think he's teasing me. But yeah, MKZ that's an SUV, isn't it? Everything's an SUV anymore. SUVs are very practical. I don't like SUVs unless I'm towing a trailer. Why? Because they're high. They raise them up. I race cars. I like good handling. I want to be low. I want that low center of gravity. I want to be down here. I don't want to be up here. Ooh, tippy up here. What do I think of Ford EcoBoost? I think that's a great engine that needs a top end. My good friend Rob Brooks, who owns the Harley dealership in Colorado Springs and also gave me cars to drive up Pikes Peak several times, one of which I crashed really badly. Rob had an EcoBoost Mustang, an early one, like 2015 or 16. And he had it tuned and it pulled like a beast down low. It got over 30 miles per gallon highway. Interestingly, the tunes these days will improve your mileage, even though they give you 100 more horsepower, as long as you don't use that 100 horsepower all the time. And then what I didn't like is the exact same as my four-cylinder Camaro. They have a really small turbo, little small turbo. So it spins up fast, which is good, but then it can't breathe at high RPM, which is not sporty. My Camaro, the red line's at 7,000. I'm never there. I shift at 53 because the power band's falling off. We can't run enough air through that little bitty turbo. It's basically a street engine. And so, yeah, love the EcoBoost. Love the 330 horse version. It's even better. But I'd like to see the thing pull to redline. It would be a more satisfying drive. Really, that's the only reason. I like low end torque too. Let's see here. Let me make sure I'm getting all my paying people. I'm going to go all the way to the bottom here. Damian Withers, this is awesome. Thanks for the story. I could BS with you for days. Yeah, I'm pretty good at that. Oh, yeah. That one was, I think we can show that. Are we okay with the term bullshit? Yeah. Camissa cusses. I don't cuss very much because, oh yeah, it's Abel. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Steve Halterback. Rio Vista, California, Abel Chevrolet. Great people, high performance department that knows what they are doing. In fact, I got to drive a ZR1 track car that belonged to a woman. I don't remember her name. I think she's from the dealership. Fantastic handling car. They cured that twitchiness I don't like. And one way to do that is by getting the rear caster right. If you have a C7 Corvette, the rear caster has to be right. And most alignment people never even look at rear caster. It's a weird number. But if you don't have that's how much the rear kingpin is inclined. If that's not right, it gives the car bump steer, roll steer. When the car leans over, there's out. That's a bad combination. It's the same thing that a Boxster Cayman does when you lower it real low. When it leans over, the rear toes out and it makes it too twitchy at turn in, that's a bad time to be twitchy. Oh, okay. Able Chevrolet. I met those guys, loved them. Steve, thanks for your support. Philip Springer for driver music. Check out Cake, seatbelts and bucket seats. Oh, yeah, Cake. The Distance. Reluctantly crouched at the starting line. Engines thumping and bumping in time. I love Cake. You know, they must have some real car guys in their band to do seatbelts and bucket seats. I've heard that, but I don't remember it. I just know The Distance. It's really cool. Assail him, impale him with monster truck force. I can't talk that fast. Or Joe Walsh's Life's Been Good. My Maserati does 185. I lost my license. Now I don't drive. I ride in limos, sit in the back. They lock the doors in case I'm attacked. Joe Walsh is a great guitar player. Man, he really made the Eagles rock. Giovanni Rico. Hey, Giovanni. Hey, Randy, I liked all the stuff you did at Laguna Seca. I wish I could do some laps there someday when I finish a 92 Stealth. That's brave. Yeah, watch the oiling. I actually raced a 92 Stealth race car a long, long time ago in the Bridgestone Supercar Series at Sonoma. And they had some severe oiling problems. I don't know why. I'm just saying, make sure your oil pressure is going to hold up in the corners. You might not know the Dodge Stealth out there, people. It's very similar to a Mitsubishi VR4, front engine, V6, in the top line model, which I'm assuming that's what you have, Giovanni, but maybe not. It was a twin turbo, all-wheel drive, rear steering, hot rod, 300 horse, which was a lot in 1990 when they came out. I did the sales training tour when that car came out. We had the Stealth for Dodge, and our comparison cars were a Corvette, which did not yet have the 300 horse LT, whatever it was, LT1, because it was 1990. And we had a Porsche Carrera C2, I think the Porsche guys call them now. Sweet cars. And the Stealth was geared really tall, really high. If you build a race car out of one, I think you're going to lower the final drive ratio a lot. They probably did that for fuel mileage. I'm not real sure. Mark Williams, what would be your preference for a lucky dog race? 5 Mile Thunder Hill or Sonoma? 5 Mile Thunder Hill, for sure. Less to hit. Sonoma's a little hairy. Fun track with the big ups and downs, but the walls are right there the whole way around. But they're both great. They're both great. Having a hard time deciding, looking for a professional's opinion. Oh, you mean Sonoma Lemons? That's the same weekend, right? No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Sonoma Lemons is the same weekend as the 25 Hours of Thunder Hill, which is a great race. But I'm going to Sonoma Lemons with Jason Camissa. We're going to have a good time. How about the Iron Crown of Crom? What are some of the adjustments you have to make to drive a Gen 2 Viper? Easy. Get everything that came on the ACRX bolted to your car, and you're done. The main thing would be to just get the shocks, which I think are Bilsteins, and they're adjustable. The only Viper that handles well is the last one, the ACRX. Actually, the 2010 or so ACR was better, was pretty good. Vipers are a twitchy, dicey car. And you know what? They come with quite a bit of rear bias stock. You might be able to settle that Viper down a little bit by going to a little bit more aggressive front pad compound. I would go to a Hawk brake. Sponsor, helper of mine, because Hawk has a lot of compound choices, and that would settle the car down some. Uh, they need to be settled down. Toe in, get the shocks from the ACR if you can. You need to make that thing put power to the ground. Racer Fink should have got the V6, Randy. My Camaro pulls to 7K. I considered that, Racer Fink. I'm with you, man. The Camaro V6 runs almost exactly like a 2000s Porsche for 1/4 the price or less. It's a 300 horse, 3.6 or 7 liter V6. Problem is, Racer Fink, it doesn't have enough bottom end. That engine doesn't come alive till about 3,000 RPM or more. Whereas the turbo pulls like a mama at 2,300 RPM. 2,300 RPM! 2,300! So it's one of the reasons I went with the turbo. It's lighter, and I wanted that bottom end because it's my daily. It's a street car. For a track car, V6 all the way. I wish they made a 7 liter LT. Hey, I'm sure there are people out there that can do that for you. Right? Okay. Victor Bitter. GM asked for and got from the Aussie government over $1 billion to keep Holden alive. This was years ago. They took off with the cash back to Detroit and left Holden to burn. What? Oh, those dirty backroom secrets. Sorry about that. Thanks for helping the United States, Victor. Not that you had a choice. Wow, did that really happen? That sounds like a good expose book. I find it believable because, business can be tough. I know a guy that was making shoes, Pelote shoes, and he got partnered with some people that were going to help build the brand, right? They took over and kicked him out. It happens. The guy was brilliant, good designer. I miss Pelote shoes. And they're back and they're pretty cool, but they're not as cool as they were when my friend was doing it way back 20 years ago. Joseph, the Camaro is the true enthusiast department at GM. That car feels so good, no matter the power plant. I could have written this. I mean, they kind of put the stamp on it with the Z28, eh? They did. The Z28 was the 5th generation Z28 he's talking about. Motor Trend Car of the Year in 2015. Great handling car. They really got it right. I don't know what they did to get all this together. I think Al Oppenheiser helped, chief engineer. He was, his team just made these things such good track cars. Oh, we got a special note from Darren Nelson. Darren, thank you. Fun and good info. Content like this, hard to find. Hope you keep doing these. Damn. Thank you. Philip Hoffman. Philip, thank you. I'm saying thank you because some people are giving me a little money to make me read their comments. Because there's so many, I can't read them all. I'm sorry, friends, but love it. Let's see here. Philip Hoffman. Hi, Randy from San Diego. Love San Diego. What a nice place. I want to buy Forge Line wheels. I know the Sharp family. They're a fantastic product. And wider tires on my 18 SS 1LE. How wide do you recommend? I don't know much about that. I'm sorry. I wouldn't go a whole heck of a lot wider because the car comes with wide wheels. You might want to square them, but you don't want to lose that beautiful balance they've got. How wide do you recommend? Will keep stock mag ride, but willing to change other suspension components. Chuck Walla is my track. Any tips? Chuck Walla is a great track. Long sweepers. Be patient through the middle of the corner and wait for the exit. You got to do a long, slow brake release and real gentle in the gas. The corners at Chuck Walla, most of them are 180s. They're kind of long, so they have a long entry phase. In other words, you brake hard and straight, and then ease off and brake lightly, lightly, lightly on your way in. Give it time because it's a long corner. And you've got to look ahead and wait until you know you're going to make the apex before you get on the gas. If you get to the gas and then have to come off and get on again, you got on the gas too soon. Every corner, virtually every corner, almost every corner, you should go to the throttle only once and then only more from there. You can go to maintenance throttle through those long 180s. Sometimes you have to wait and then roll it on. If you hear a car going through a corner and he goes, that's not good. You're going to beat that guy. You can go in faster, keep the weight on the nose longer, go to the power once. You'll go much later than that person did, but it will be once and you'll be faster all the way until you do. And then you can get at least as good an exit. Anybody who's on and off the gas a lot, probably number one is on the power too soon. When you go to the power, you transfer weight back. That makes the front tires light. That causes understeer. I'm talking too long. Philip, thank you. I would talk to Forgeline about their recommendation. I would also go online to a Facebook page that I'm a member of, 6th Gen Camaro. There's also 1LE pages, and you can get advice on that. Or you check my buddy, 1LE Nate. I think it's 1LE_Nate, who's my hero. He's a brand new Air Force pilot, got a 1LE. He knows all that stuff. He's really good. Look for at 1LE_Nate. What is that? Would that be Instagram page? He doesn't have a YouTube channel. Or Able Chevrolet out in, oh gosh, where did you say they were? They're in California, in between Sacramento and San Francisco, like halfway in between. Able Chevrolet. They know what they're doing. Andrew Blackburn, is a C6 any better than a C5 as a track car? Either as a Z06 worth saving for? Yeah, everything's a little better. The C6 Z06 has a lot more power. The C5 is a cool track car. It's affordable. Just cool everything. Tranny cooler, engine cooler, diff cooler. Well, it's a transaxle. Cool that. And insulate your transmission tunnel because it's hot. It'll burn you. Philip Hoffman, thank you for asking. Seriously, I think Forgeline themselves can give you good advice on that. You don't need to go a lot wider. The wheels are good. They come with 20s, and you might want to go to a smaller diameter to give you more tire choice as long as it still clears your brakes. And I'm not terribly well versed in that because my Camaro is still dead stock. It depends on how far you want to go with your track car, right? But they're so good stock that just don't mess it up. Any experience on Ducatis, Jacob Velasquez? Yes. I have a 96 900 SS I've had for 22 years. I love the mid-range torque. They tend to be very stiff. And Ducatis have steering geometry that is made for 100 miles an hour. So they feel a little awkward in tighter corners. And, on track, the geometry is slower responding and it gives you stability at speed. But on the street, they're a little slow responding. But they're beautiful, they're artistic, they're Italian, they're passion, two-wheel passion. Kevin at KSR, should be able to fix the top end on that 2.0. Yeah, you're right, Racer Fink. Kevin at KSR builds the cars for Cletus McFarland. Ruby, what do they call the El Camino? The mullet. He builds those, and they're fantastic. And he's a good driver. Kevin beat me at the Freedom 500. I was hoping at the 4-hour lots, but I'm not going to be able to make that event. I just glued the soles back onto my Pilates I bought in 2007. Yes, I've done the same thing. Guess what? I found a set of Pilates from 2007 in the back of my closet downstairs, and I wear them for special occasions because they're in excellent condition. Okay, Iron Crown of Crom. Hey, thank you. He has highlighted a question. Any tips for driving a Gen 2 Viper? Mine has Stop Tech 6-piston fronts. Good. Stop Tech, great brand, great brakes. In the past, have you said, get it pointed straight before you get on it? Anything else about the setup? That's the truth, Iron Crown of Chrome. Vipers can be really dicey. You need to get them to put power down better. And on the ACR Viper, the last gen, they figured that out. And one way to do that on some cars is to increase the rear compression. You want the car to transfer weight back as fast as possible. This is like a drag racer. They do the same thing. Have very little front rebound and a lot of rear compression. So it'll stick the back tires. Because when you put load on a tire, it grips better. Everybody, do this test with me. Slide your fingers lightly across your computer, a desk, whatever's nearby, and see how easy that is? Now push down. Now try it. It's a lot harder. When you transfer weight to a tire, its grip improves. So to get your Viper to put power down better, which they need, they're just dicey. Another way to cure a car that's dicey is don't run front toe out. A lot of race car setup guys think you've got to have front toe out. Not on a Viper. Straight or even towed in. Make this thing friendly, drivable, so you can use all that power. Same in the back. Toe in. Yeah, I mean, don't go crazy. I think in terms of inches, an eighth, 3/16, a quarter is extreme rear toe in, a total quarter, which is more like, let's see, and that's 3 millimeters a side. Nah, 2 millimeters a side. Yeah. Those are ways to get your Viper to be more tame, because that's what it needs. It needs to be calmed down. And those StopTech 6-piston front brakes are probably going to help you with your bias. Philip Hoffman, I always aim to reduce unsprung weight and rotational mass. Good. But I got no models of offsets for you. Sorry, man. Models of offsets. Oh, you mean for the Camaro 1LE, perhaps? Yeah, Philip Hoffman. Yeah. Reducing unsprung weight is great. Forgeline knows what wheels you want. They equip the winning cars at the Solo Nationals and track days and races. Those guys know what they're doing. Let's see. There's my good buddy, Shart. Oh, come on, Randy. I love this man. He's been good to me for 20 years. Always a friend. Although I need a set of forge lines for my Camaro. Not after I can't come up with his name. His brother is Dave Shart. He's got a super cute wife who's really great and works in the business. His dad is Jim. And they used to be Dayton Wire Wheel. Maybe you didn't know that. And then Forgeline was like the sports car end of the business of the Shart family. Jim Shart's got a Corvair Stinger, which I have always wanted to drive. Oh, I can't believe I've drawn a blank. I am going to have to look that up because he's one of my best friends. Life is hard. Steve and Nikki Short. Steve, love you. Steve will know what you need. He will. Andrew Blackburn, you're welcome. Yeah. Crown of Chrome. Thanks. Forged lines, carbon fiber rims for the Viper are crazy expensive. Yeah. Carbon fiber wheels are crazy expensive. And, if you got the money, do it. But if you don't, get a good forged wheel, lightweight, it'll work. Vipers also have a lot of rim. Yeah, they do. Hey, Christian Buxo. Good morning from the UK. Good day. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. That's not England. Cheerio? I don't know. Hey, England swings like the pendulum do. You English like oversteer, right? Am I right, Christian? Because Lotus is oversteer, Jaguar is oversteer, McLaren's oversteer, Ariel Adams oversteer. Everything coming out of England oversteers. And I see it at Goodwood. I like oversteer, but not if I'm trying to go fast. I want balance. I want to use all of the grip front and rear, and I got to take care of my back tires. If a car's oversteering, you're heating up those back tires. And late in the race, you're not going to be able to get the power down and win this thing. You win the race on the last lap, not on the first one. Great to hear from the UK. Great to hear. What do I think about Subaru? Subaru's understeer too much. Otherwise, fantastic. WRX, cool car. I saw one. It was probably top of the line, but it was like $60,000. I didn't know WRXs had gotten that expensive. I thought they were cheap. But I love them. They're really great on a windy road because they're so stable. That flat four, smooth, unique exhaust note. I think it's kind of cool. They sound like a spark plug wire fell off. And yeah, I like Subarus. I like anything sporty. Come on. And all-wheel drive is cool. I wish the Subaru would run more power to the rear. Even when you have an STI and it has that little adjustment for it, it's still not enough rear. I always want more rear. Spencer Rump, thank you from Canada. Little Pip. Hey, Randy, enjoy your content. Well, thank you. You're welcome. I'm just BSing, like my friend said. Wondering what you think of the RCF. I got one recently. Lexus has really given the oomph to the RCF. What year is it, for one? I drove them a couple years ago when they came out. Very sweet Lexus, smooth, high revving, 5-liter V8. No, it's not 5, is it? It's 4. Yeah, help me on that. And it's the first year. Yeah, I think that's a 4-liter. High revving engine. I test drove 4 Lexus on the RCF, and I told them they needed another liter, no more horsepower, put it all in the bottom end. And good handling car, extremely high Lexus quality, sweet high revving V8. 2015, before it got COVID tax. Ooh, 5-liter. Oh, so it is a 5-liter. Let's see. Dolby 109 says, haha, my S13 had a plug go bad and it sounded just like an STI with unequal length headers. That's at a Pobst 4, you know. They're not known for their exhaust note. You put a big turbo on it. Lexus RCF, high quality, fantastic high revving V8. Everything works well. It's a little heavy because it's a combination of 2 different cars. And my friend Mary in South Florida has one and absolutely adores it. And she's a real good race car driver. So that means good stuff. And hey, thank you from Canada. You're the best. Here's a guy named, or gal named Alik. Rode in an Elise on some back roads. That thing was squirrely, right? Lovely car, though. Yeah, if you drive an Elise hard, you better have your correct pause recover. You better have your car control. I do. So, I mean, I love the car. Guess what? Jason Camissa has one. So, you know, it's cool. And I'd kill for a Lotus Elise. I have 2 race carts and an E46. Great. Yeah. Race carts. Oversteer. See? Am I right, Christian? Darth Sniper just wanted to say, I saw you race at Pikes Peak and you guys are freaking crazy. What a race you had. Grats. Oh, thanks, man. Darth Sniper, it was so cool to run good, have that car work well, even though Unplugged Performance had only gotten that Tesla Plaid just 2 weeks before the race. 2 weeks. And we were still working on it with Bill Stein. And by the way, it's EI is pronounced like an I in German, and IE is pronounced like an E. I also called it Bill Steen for many years. It's Bill Stein. But, we're American. We say Porsche. I can't stand it when people say Porsche. I mean, I don't think I'm an elitist. It's Porsche, Porsche, Porsche. Throw the sh in there. The Germans do, most of them. So yeah, Christian, I know you like oversteer. All right, what is it? What? It's midnight. We gotta go, dudes. We gotta go. Okay, I'm saying goodbye. Derek Aben says, "Hey Randy, I'm a new owner of a Camaro SS1LE. I have to thank you for helping me decide what to buy. You're gonna love that car. Great handling. If you go on track, you'll love it even more. But it's a great street car." Philip Springer sent an email through your website a couple weeks ago about racing my BMW spec in NASA. No reply. Yeah, I get a lot. I'll look for it. B. Tracy, if you're out there, or write me at Randy Pobst Productions at whatever she said that address was earlier in this. I'm a little hard to get a hold of sometimes. I apologize for that. I think it's Randy Pobst Productions at gmail.com. It's my business address. So, yeah. Yes, I'd like to drive your car. If you pay me, the odds are better, but if I'm free, I might do it anyway. Am I better off with your Gmail? Yes. Philip Springer. We're going to have to look for that. Okay, Philip? Thank you for the offer, though. That's a Spec E46, I assume? Oh, and NASA Endurance. Oh, yeah, let's do it. I love those endurance races. What new car can't you wait to drive? Tesla Roadster. Absolutely. The new BRZ Toyota 86. I haven't been in that yet, and it's supposed to be fantabulous. I can't wait to drive that. What else we got? The next Corvette Z06 with the flat plane crank is coming. That's going to be really interesting. And I'm going to throw in the Ferrari Roma. My friend Johnny Lieberman absolutely loves that car. Says it does a great job blending the luxury GT with the high performance exotic car. And I admire that. And I want to see, because I respect his opinion a lot. Dolby, we love you. Keep going. Hey, thank you. I will. What do I think about the new electric Lotus? It looks insane. I don't know. We'll see. But electric power is impressive. It just goes so fast. We need better batteries, and they're working on them. Mario Lamas, only 60 people here. It should be a couple thousand at least. Well, we'll work on it. Hey, it's just us, buddies, But thank you, Mario Lamas. Devin, have you seen or driven the new GR86? Not yet, but it's on my list of cars that I want to drive because I've heard some great things about it from Jason Camissa. I'm going to say goodnight. It's been unbelievable. I can't believe it's been almost 2 hours because it seems like 5 minutes. And, thanks Rebellion Watches. Thanks everybody that sent me a little bit of money to highlight your questions. Spencer Rump, Philip Hoffman, Darren Nelson, Steve Halterbeck. Love you guys. We will see you next time. Drive safe, be smooth, look ahead. Boom.